Welcome back. You're still watching Network Africa. Former Ugandan opposition leader Besigye has been ordered to be detained until June 1st on treason charges, days after he was accused of unlawfully declaring himself president. Mr. Besigye lost to veteran leader Yoweri Museveni in presidential elections in February, but he said the vote had been rigged. A charge sheet showed he was detained last week, then charged on Friday with being sworn in as president in a mock ceremony. The conduct of the election and the treatment of opponents has drawn criticism from Western donors who also value Uganda as an ally in the fight against Islamist militants. Ugandan troops are part of an African force battling Al-Shabaab in Somalia. The opposition has staged sporadic protests as the vote leading to clashes with police and dozens of arrests. Joshua Poro, a renowned Ugandan journalist, joins us now from the capital, Kampala. Joshua, thanks for joining us on Network Africa.
You're welcome.
Exactly why is Besigye being detained and not being asked to show up in court until June 1st?
Well, first of all, Besigye is a big and a very strong political figure in this country, and the major reason why he was transferred from a prison 460 kilometers out of Kampala town, that is in Moroto, back to Kampala, is because they allege that he was a security risk. You know, everywhere Besigye goes, he's followed by a huge gathering of his fellow supporters. So the first reason the government is giving is that he is a security risk. Secondly, the charges that have been levied upon him, and that is a treason charge, is a capital offense. And capital offenders in this country are not entitled to any bail of sorts, so he has to be held in prison until his trial is done away with. And their third reason, of course, is Dr. Besigye is a flight risk. He has the resources available at his disposal. He has his passport, he has the money, he has the support, of course, of some Western allies. So it's very possible that he could fly out of the country at any time. If you recall, in 2001, Besigye escaped and went to South Africa, of course. So they believe that he is a flight risk, and since that is a capital offense, then no, he cannot be granted bail. So he has to stay in jail until a point in time when his case has been heard and disposed of.
Is it possible his life is in danger? I mean, because this is not the first time he's tried, you know, to stand up against the governments. You think he could have gone otherwise? Would things have played out differently if he had just kept quiet and accepted the election results and gone ahead with what's going on in Uganda?
You see, I guarantee you that Besigye has a lot of support in this country, and the biggest mistake the government would ever do is to eliminate him. I don't think the government would in any way try to eliminate Besigye, because that would bring a lot of backlash. However, today in the morning, because last week he was charged with treason in Moroto court, and then again today when he was brought to court, he was reread the same charge sheet and recharged with treason. Now, what happens is, when he was in court, he tried to put it to the judge that he is actually worried for his safety in the prisons where he is being held. Unfortunately, the judges said that a treason case like that cannot be heard by a magistrate's court, which is the court that charged him with treason. It can only be heard by the High Court. So Besigye has to wait until June, and that is when he can bring his issue up to the High Court for hearing, and he can express his issues of insecurity. But Besigye's life, I don't think anyone would try to hurt that man. He is of great concern to this nation. Hurting him would be a lot of backlash for the current government, and that would be impossible. Sometimes I actually think people think the government is trying to deter him. I think the government is trying to protect him, because if anything happens to him, then people are likely to think and imagine that it is the government. So it is in the government's interest to actually protect this man.
That sounds weird enough, Joshua. But let's talk about the Ugandan people. How are they reacting to what's going on? I mean, I know that people are divided between both camps. Those who are supporting the government, those who are supporting Yoweri Museveni, not just the government, and then you have those who are also supporting Besigye. What do they make of the arrests, and what do they make of Yoweri Museveni coming back into power?
Well, I think, let me start from the latter. President Museveni coming back to power, we're used to that since 1986. He's always coming back to power, and people have started making fun of statements where people keep on saying that President Museveni has never handed over power to anybody. No, 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 no. President Museveni has always handed over power to President Museveni 5 years later, eventually. But you know, the thing is that I think one of the biggest mistakes that Besigye made was to swear in, but the swearing wasn't made public. It was made on a video. It was actually a concocted video. The crowd that you see in the video was one earlier on during elections, and it was cropped and fixed into each other. And that was just a simple video. And actually, the officials who were present at the swearing in, the people you see seated behind him during his swearing in, were also being questioned today at the police station and asked to make statements, of which they actually declined and refused to make statements. Members of the public, of course, are concerned as to why Dr. Besigye is in jail. But you see, there's nothing much they can do. I always say this, that President Museveni has a very strong grip onto this country, and nothing is going to change that anytime soon. You try to bring anything, you're seriously clamped down. So last year, the Secretary General of the ruling party, which is President Museveni's party, did warn members of the public and parents and told them, do not allow your children go on the street because the government is going to kill them. So why would you dare do that?
Joshua, I'm afraid that's where we have to leave it, Joshua. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, and we do hope that we do hope for all the best, for Uganda and its people as well as the governments. Thank you for joining us on Network Africa. Still ahead on the program, the latest regarding the demolition of buildings in Kenya following a building collapse that left at least 51 people dead.